more protective gear than I did that one time. But as you can see, folks have their umbrellas out. They're going to try to deflect that tear gas. They're going to try to make sure it doesn't get on them, because it's a spray itself that will basically incapacitate an individual to where they can't see, they can't breathe. Every breath you take, even if the smoke is gone, you will feel a burning.
I'm here. Sorry, guys. Hello.
Basically in your nose, in your lungs, and it will stop you in your tracks. That's for sure. But a lot of the times, what they're trying to do is just push them back and hope they disperse. And if they disperse, then it's over. But a lot of times with these law enforcement agencies, what they're just trying to do is they're trying not to use anything else other than this tactic to get them to disperse. But you'll see sometimes some tactical gears. And actually, if you look back there, you can see the officers. You can't really see you take out the CG for just a moment. Oh, never mind. They squared up there. But what you're seeing is you've got those officers in the tactical gear. What they'll do is come in behind those vehicles and that are shooting the tear gas or the spray, and they will arrest individuals who are in the path that they can get their hands on and bring them back to the line, which is that line right there. And that's where they'll do the processing of an individual, arrest them if necessary. So have we seen any violence, any rocks thrown towards? I know you had seen the fireworks earlier.
Yes, we did see bottles and possibly rocks or other objects of some kind being hurled from the protest site over the chain link fence towards officers and cruisers.
Yeah, and it appeared we're trying to get a good sense of, you see that one line of officers outside of the fence, and then you've got obviously the officers behind the fence at the police station there. So you kind of do have two converging. Don't know if that particular line of officers is advancing or not.
So guys,
let's listen and
they are now moving forward. They are advancing. So as those vehicles,
this is how the police are moving through the area to clear the area. Yes.
What they're going to do, unmute me, there we go. What we're going to do here is we're going to see these officers move forward, and they're going to basically stay behind that line. There's a line that is created, that line being, first of all, those vehicles that are shooting off the canisters that have the spray in it and the gas in it, and then the officers will come in, they'll stay in this tactical line, and then what they'll do is they'll surround an individual, take him into custody, bring him back behind the line, and process them. And there can be various different charges that can be included in this, but honestly, a lot of times what happens is they're going to try and hope that their goal is to get the people to disperse without having to take anybody into custody. It's more of the show of force. We're here, go home is what the goal is, but that doesn't happen all the time. So the last protest that I was at, they literally surrounded the individual, and then the officers had shields around the individual that they were arresting, but then also themselves. They kind of put a big old circle around that person while they took him into custody, and then brought him back behind the line. But we haven't seen that happen just yet. We've got is this another shot from KARE?
Yeah, another shot, it looks like from a different angle, maybe from behind the advancing officers, or this is...
This looks off to the side there.
Yeah, it's just hard to get our bearings on the ground here, but these officers appear to have kind of stopped at the moment, at least, maybe advancing kind of slowly.
With the folks over at KARE, they've got, looks like, I'm not sure who that group of individuals is in front of them. I don't know if we have two different lines here. From what I can tell, can we go ahead and double box this? Can we keep an eye on both of them?
Sure.
What we're going to do here is we're going to bring up a box of both what we're seeing from KARE and also from the other pictures that we're getting from the affiliate. And I'm not sure if these members of the media taking the video in front of the officers.
There really aren't many people around here.
Hold on a second, Sean.
Some of the officers were flashing, pointing their flashlights at us, trying to figure out who we are. But what I will say to you is behind us here, behind these officers, Sarah was just talking about hearing more what sounded like flashbangs, more gas from the police coming from this side. Now, there is a group of protesters, and you can hear one of the protesters here. There is a crowd behind here that we can't see, that it seems that the police are trying to disperse. So that's why we saw and heard some more of that gas. But this is the entire area now, Chris. The police have been relatively successful after using the flashbangs, the tear gas, to push a lot of the crowd back, and a lot of them have at this point left, so we're not seeing them. There have been some more flashbangs and some more tear gas, but certainly not at the level that we saw before. I mean, it was a lot.
Let's talk about what we're seeing here. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we see here the other shot. You heard that reporter talking just a minute ago on his line. We have a second line here where the officers have been seen trying to disperse that crowd. They threw, it looks like some canisters, maybe a flashbang. I'm not seeing any gas or any smoke come off of that, the flashbang that we had just seen from the video you're seeing on the right-hand side. So it's more than likely just a flashbang to... What those do is it's a bright flash of light. It's a concussion, as Michael had said earlier, where basically it kind of numbs your senses for a moment, so you would back up or you lose those senses. But it looks like they're trying to utilize them to get people to just disperse. But it looks like the crowd backed off for a moment, and now they're moving back forward. Some folks are leaving, but it looks like this group here... on this second line, we have two lines here. As you heard the reporter just a moment ago, there's a line on one section of the road, and then a little further back, there's this other line that you're seeing here on the right-hand side. So what we're seeing is on this line on the left, there are vehicles in front that are shooting off OC spray, are utilizing tear gas, where you've got this other line here where it doesn't look like they got the line of vehicles. What they've got is just a line of officers who are basically confronting another crowd on this side. So what's going to happen here is we're probably going to see on the side that you see the KARE, you're probably going to see the officers be a little bit more physical with this group of individuals because, well, it looks like on the other side now we have individuals coming up to the line of officers. So there's two definite...
Alexa, how do you save more money while shopping on Amazon?
So what we got here is we got the two different lines, and it looks like that the one line, the vehicle in front that was shooting off the spray, is no longer there, and the protesters are now basically nose to nose with the officers. You got one person riding a bicycle, and you've got other individuals with the signs up, and on the other side you've got a bigger group. So we could potentially see some arrests here. This is when the officers are just basically going to continue to walk forward. If they see some type of threat, that's when they'll probably rush forward, pull this person back, and take him into custody. That's the general tactic we see from officers.
Yeah, and Sean, while you're talking, just within the last about 10 minutes, the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension has identified the police officer who shot and killed Daunte Wright. Her name is Kim Potter. According to a release, she'd been with the department for 26 years. She is on standard administrative leave, so a veteran police officer here who fired that single fatal shot. According to police, she thought she was holding her taser when she fired her service weapon. Again, her name is Kim Potter, and her name was just released. She is 26-year veteran of the Brooklyn Center Police Department, and she is on standard administrative leave.
Looks like they're using more spray on the group here that we're seeing on our screen. Can we go back to double box, please? If we can, because it looks like we got a steady shot from KARE again. This shot you're seeing on the left, again, the group of individuals who dispersed are now coming back together. I have that line in front of that police line, and they're now utilizing spray. And it looks like we just lost our shot from KARE. We've got a larger group here. And you can see even the protesters, they were prepared. They were prepared, and they are wearing helmets. They've got goggles on. They've got various different protective tools on to protect themselves from that spray. So that's why you have several different uses. Looks like somebody kind of maybe... that gentleman, I thought he may have been hit by something, but it looks like he fell or had stumbled. So the officers kind of stopped in their tracks. I see they took one person into custody on the left-hand side. As you can see, they just grab him and pull him back behind their line, and that's where they have another wing of officers waiting to basically take him into custody and arrest them or just hold or detain them. So it is raining there too, so that definitely plays a factor too. That could actually diminish the amount or how the spray, the tear gas works in this atmosphere, because when you get the moisture falling, it could actually stop the gas from moving forward and working in its intended form, and that is to basically be downwind and affect more people.
Yeah, we'll cut back to this live shot here in just a moment, but also just wanted to show you about 18 minutes ago, they announced a fourth dispersal order says go home or you will be arrested. So this is the fourth order that they police have now issued to the crowd, and they are threatening with arrest if these people don't go home. So we have not seen any arrests happen on video yet, at least, or heard about any arrests. Doesn't mean none have happened yet, but so far we've just seen these two lines of police kind of advancing on the crowds here. The crowds have dispersed significantly, though, from when we first started monitoring this about an hour or so ago. So the police have made some progress. But the question is, when these folks start dispersing, where are they going to go? Are they going to go home? Are they going to go, just somewhere else and kind of regroup and reorganize? So that's what we'll be watching as the night wears on here. But again, the crowd, still several people here, lots of people defying the curfew and still out at this protest.
See, these situations, there are so many things that can happen, and it looks like we've seen more fireworks go off. I believe we're seeing fireworks go off now on the left side. And it's not uncommon for protesters to use those projectiles to basically also shoot back. Wait, something else just got shot towards the reporter on the left side. I don't know if it's tear gas. Yeah, they're shooting off more tear gas. And what happens is the protesters oftentimes, see, they've got those cones. They're trying to cover them up with those cones to try to stop it from dispersing more. I don't know if that's actually physically working, but a lot of times they'll also kick them back. Some people have been known to pick them up and throw them back the other way. But we'll probably see a lot more of that tear gas used here in the future. And looks like we've got another shot up. Is this where is this coming from, WCCO? Are they also in the same spot?
Yeah, and it looks we got someone being taken down right there now.
And you see, if we stay on this for a moment, you will see, okay, they tackled him. They're getting him taken back, or they push the line forward in this instance. So basically they tackle an individual and they push the line forward, and they basically pull him back so there's more officers back behind them to pull that person in and take him into custody safely without putting officers that are taking that person into custody in harm's way. Because basically what happens is you get 2-3 officers who are taking a person into custody, and some of the protesters have been known to come in and start attacking those officers. So it's one of those tactics that they've been using to try to basically overwhelm so others can't come in and try to hurt the officers who are trying to take that person into custody.
Standard foulness.
Yep.
Just keeping that line up front, and then if people move up front, you surround them so that you can protect while they do their work and are turned around, zip tying or handcuffing suspects.
Yep. So we've got about 3 different shots. Do we have a 3-box, or we can't do that? We don't have 3 receivers. That's my fault. So basically we have 3 different signals we're able to take from here. But it looks like, is that a tactical vehicle on the right side?
Yeah, that's what it looked like there coming in.
So this is one of those situations where we've seen the protests in the past where officers don't know what these individuals have. They've utilized simple things like rocks as projectiles. Some have had weapons. Some have had, as you've seen, fireworks, which can be a very deadly device. And you've got just folks who are utilizing sticks and whatever they can find in these protests and become violent. So a lot of times with the officers, they are in that tactical gear, and they try to take the individuals down and use that tactic, as we were just talking about, to try to disarm them if they do have a weapon. But several people, I can't gather how many, I can't really get an estimate of how many people are in these protests, but
hundreds, if not easily over 1,000. There was a massive shot earlier of a number of people standing beside the chain link fence, but that was before the tear gas and pepper balls really started flying. But yeah, there were a lot of
rocks
people
being thrown at the officers now.
Yes.
You see that just now. And let me give you guys, everybody out there, a little bit. I know sometimes this video is looking a little grainy, it's shaky. A lot of times these photographers are also in the way, in a sense, in harm's way. They're on a line. They try to stay back as much as possible, but they're getting pushed back just like everybody else. And we're starting to see some more spray being shot out here. Individuals stopping. They're on their knees, their hands up. Oftentimes,
A lot
they
of
don't
objects,
shoot.
a lot of objects being
Yeah.
thrown at police too, and it'll be interesting to see if they arrest these people if they don't get up, or what exactly.
More than likely, they'll be surrounded and pulled back.
Yep.
And taken.
There
There
they
they are. See, exactly right there. That's the same tactic.
I am not sure. We can't really show it, but what I'm seeing on social media is purportedly a number of businesses. There's a business, a convenience mart not too far from this scene that is currently being ransacked that I'm seeing on Twitter right now. And it looks as if the further they're being pushed back, other places are being targeted, it would seem.
And we've seen that in protests in the past too, where a store or a convenience store has fallen victim to looters in these situations because instead of the law enforcement being in multiple areas at once, they're in one spot trying to disperse the group, and that's when some businesses fall prey to looters in these situations. Again, we see some individuals in tactical gear, those officers in tactical gear. Those are especially trained. Most officers are trained in riot situations, and we say riot, they're in riot gear. That's the classification that's given to them. But then you've got the officers in tactical gear who are specifically trained in SWAT or in de-escalation procedures. And you can see that's actually what looks to be a rubber ball gun, but basically what it is to get people to back up, they use rubber balls or beanbag gun. And basically it hits the person, it just knocks them out, maybe knocks the wind out of them. Can definitely cause a heck of a welt too. But instead of utilizing fatal firearms, they utilize these beanbag guns or these rubber ball guns to get people to back up and
Less
hopefully
lethal.
disperse. Yes, less lethal. Yes, that's a much better term. Yes, because obviously if you hit the person in the wrong spot, it can be a very bad situation. So we can see them in tactical. The individuals in tactical gear are the ones with the specialized weapons to do that.
In Minnesota, Operation Safety Net confirming, says 5 minutes ago, law enforcement officers are arresting people who have ignored dispersal orders after that fourth order to clear the area. So, police confirming and threatening that they are making arrests at this point. And again, we're watching just a couple of different shots from a couple of different vantage points. Two different lines. One of officers advancing. This is closer to that original perimeter around the police department, where kind of away from that line of officers advancing. But you can see fewer officers here, but still a lot of people just kind of milling about, watching what's going on.
Graham, go ahead and give us the backstory for folks who are just now joining us.
Yeah, so for folks just joining us, this is all because of Dante Wright, a 20-year-old unarmed black man who was shot and killed yesterday by a Brooklyn Center police officer, Brooklyn Center is about 15 miles or so north of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, number, go ahead.
Yeah, just watching, again, more people that are likely about to be arrested here as protesters clash with police. But basically, the body cam footage has already been released by police today, but it shows a police officer as Dante Wright was pulled over. His mom said that he was pulled over for having air freshener hanging in his car. The police say that the traffic stop started because they noticed an expired registration. They discovered that Dante had warrants, or at least a warrant, tried to take him into custody. We're in the process of putting the handcuffs on him when he kind of did a spin move, got back into the driver's seat. The police officer threatens to tase him. She says, taser, 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 and fires, but she's holding her service weapon instead of her taser. So the officer claims, the police department claims that and someone else is about to be taken into custody.
Yeah, at this point, they're taunting the officers and
Yeah.
reaching out their hands to try to touch them. And because they have that line set up the way they do, they're trying to pull them in and take them back behind that line. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the police department says that the officer accidentally grabbed her service weapon instead of her taser, and as soon as that officer fires the single shot, She says, "Oh blank, I shot him." As Dante Wright drives away, he doesn't get very far and dies after that single gunshot that appeared to kind of go into his side, which unfortunately you can see on the body cam video from that officer. So we learned that the officer, of course, has been placed on leave, as is the standard procedure there, and her name just identified, just released not too long ago, within the last hour. 26-year veteran. Her name is Kim Potter of the Brooklyn Center Police.
Most law enforcement agencies have that policy, even if it's a self-defense type of situation. With when a firearm is, when someone is shot, an officer-involved shooting, 99% of law enforcement agencies have that policy in place that the officer is placed on administrative leave.
Pretty much any time an officer discharges their service weapon.
Not necessarily. A lot of agencies, I mean, if will not put somebody on administrative leave. If I know down in Kansas, an officer will discharge their firearm, but they're not placed on administrative leave.
If no one is
exactly
shot. Okay.
Yeah, but there is an investigation into each time an officer does discharge,
right.
but an officer is not placed on administrative leave. So it varies from agency to agency on that aspect of it. But if somebody is struck, 99% of the time, an officer is placed on administrative leave.
Yes, every state, city, county is different, has their own protocols and whatnot. So this is what we're learning.